From Mysing Media, this is AboveStatus. I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Myford Mysing. AboveStatus is about sharing real, raw, and inspiring stories of young immigrants and uplifting conversations with activists, professionals, and politicians. The amazing thing about this podcast is that it is unedited and unfiltered conversations. Join us as we dive deep into personal journeys, explore challenges, and celebrate the triumphs of those redefining success. Today, I had a great conversation with Domonick from Turks and Caicos and Prithika from India about their adventures coming to Canada. Domonick arrived to Canada through the International Experience Canada program, while Prithika moved here for her master's in software engineering and even ended up quarantined in Serbia unexpectedly because of COVID 19. We talked about adjusting to Canadian life, dealing with cultural shock, finding housing, healthcare, and the diverse cities. Domonick thinks Toronto is lively and a bit chaotic. He loves the nightlife and networking opportunities. Prithika enjoys Montreal's rich culture and Kingston's balanced life. Our conversation was honest and insightful, touching on the funny, complex, and tough parts of immigration. Join us for a dive into new beginnings with life in Canada. Let's get into it. We're going to center our conversation about moving to Canada and the experiences that led to deciding to move and the complexities of moving to a different country, and also the adjustment period that everyone must go uh, through. So, Domonick, what made you decide that Canada would be the place that you would be migrated to?
For me, I chose Canada simply because it's like, it has like a influence of American culture within it. Like, even though the diversity is very different, you still see, American culture from like individuals my age still listening to Drake, they listen to Meek Mill, you know, the things that they do as far as like, the social or the night scene here in the city as well too, you're still able to connect with folks that you're able to. So yeah, it was the similarity of the cultures
Mm,
that made me, want to come here, along with, Canada being a lot more closer for my family to always come and see me if they want to as well too.
that's uh, that's pretty good. Patika?
Um, well, for me, it was more like I had to choose a country to do my master's. And when I was moving, Canada had a lot of opportunities for IT and IT sector companies and all of that. So, yeah, that's the reason I chose Canada, mostly to do my master's and then probably get a job in the same stream.
Mm. So, how was the process for you? What did you have to do first to initiate the moving process?
One of the first things that I had to do was, see what visas I would be eligible for when it came to applying. I got extremely lucky because I have like dual citizenship between Turks and Caicos and the UK. So I was able to travel. I was able to apply for a youth mobility visa called the IEC visa, which is the International Experience Canada visa.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got my UK citizenship and I had the passport in my hand, I ended up just applying for that visa and I got accepted literally, 2 weeks after I submitted the application.
Mm. For myself and my wife, both of us got work permits to move here to Canada. So we had to work with lawyers and provided documentations about my ability to speak French and my work experience and my resume. So I had to go through an extensive let's say document gathering and filling out the forms just to initiate the process to come here to Canada. I can say that it could be extremely complicated and overwhelming to know the exact category that you fall under. Did you have a same experience, Patika?
Not really, because I was coming here to study, so there's just one visa for, it's called study visa, right? So, but we did have a lot of documentation. Most of our original transcripts from our undergrad, all the mark sheets, then the financial status, so anything that can tie you back to your home country. And we had to do a medical as well and give the English language test. So we did have a lot of process, but they were, yeah, you just had to do it step by step and then wait for the visa to get accepted.
Mm. Speaking of English stats, I think Dominic and I had some experience about that English test situation that are not too positive. So, how was that for you?
It was pretty good for me because English is our first language, like back home, at least mine. And then I didn't have issues writing or in any of those sections of the IELTS. But mostly I think I just had a week to prepare, frankly speaking. Yeah, because things happened really fast from when we decided, and then we had only this much time to start applying if we wanted to go for that intake that we were deciding for. So I had like a week to prepare, and I watched a few videos on how the tests are exactly, because there's a way it works, right? So we just looked and got through in the first time, like the first try itself.
Ah, ah. So, Dominic and I again had a terrible experience. So, let me go first. I studied for the English test. And for some reason, I scored highly on writing and speaking. But when it came to listening, this is when I got one of the worst scores ever because they said that I can't listen to English. So, Dominic, share your story.
For me personally, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like I think it was just a scam, like just to get my money. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like me. I spoke English. Like English is my first language. I spoke English all of my life. I went through Florida International University. I got a bachelor's of science from there. Like like literally, and it's just like for me to receive the score that I did, like I don't know, like at some point you will see it as like an insult too. Like that's the way that I seen it as, because like I speak proper English, I communicate with people and stuff like that, but the way that they're testing you is just, it's different. It's different because it's like it's English but it's not English. It's just another exam to see how well you can take the exam, honestly, that I see it.
I mean, the exam itself is so weird. Like,
Yeah.
you don't listen that way. Like,
Like literally, like they would literally play like a prompt for you, and then you would try to remember the most important things, and they ask you about the littlest things. It's like literally. I honestly felt like it was a scam, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Coming from like, I was undocumented in America. so I went through the American education system. English was my first language. I went to university there, so when I see my score, I kind of felt like it was an insult. Like literally, it was like an insult. But the way that they test you, it's completely different. Like it's English, but it's not English though. You feel me? It's not like, I can hold a conversation with my managers. I'm holding a conversation here perfectly fine, speaking in English. I write in English. I text in English. So it's just like they're just testing you on other things. Like if you're a good test taker, you know how to like, get through it. Me, I'm just a terrible test taker. So I was just got.
Yeah, I think one of the things that they do is they probably ask you what was the third word that the person said. And if you don't remember it, you get a low score.
Like literally, especially since it's like repetitive and you in the midst of it, you just be like, oh my God.
And you also have the time limit. You have to get things done. Like, who does that in day to day life? Like,
It's crazy. And it's so funny. The person who I did my speaking test, they were asking me a couple of questions. However, I believe the person was French. I could not understand what they were asking me. I'm not saying that all French people have that accent, but I'm like, why are you testing me on English when I cannot even understand you? So,
Yeah, like literally, that also plays like a really big part because like certain aspects of your exam is just based on somebody else's opinion, when it comes to like speaking or writing and they're grading your prompt. And then sometimes with a prompt, they aren't even specific on what they want or how they want it to be done. So you just go ahead and just do like, the simplest way without doing too much because you don't want to overcomplicate it when the whole time they just wanted you to be overcomplicated.
and I guess even with speaking, it's more like they give you a choice, right? Like a question. Do you prefer this or that? And you answer what you want to say. Imagine they don't like your answer.
Yeah, like literally, it's just like it can even be a situation like that person just had a bad day, so I'm gonna fail. You never know. Like I try not to think that way, but you never know though.
yeah, you never know. Another step to migrating to Canada, either for study or to basically live here, is for them to evaluate your degrees. Did you have to do that, Prithika?
I just had to submit my original mark sheets and my original transcript. Yeah, so the transcripts would be attested by the university, right? So that was more than enough, but I think this is mostly for study permits.
Ah, for me to get my permanent residency, I had to submit my degrees for evaluation. But they do have a few universities here that can do it. I went with the University of Toronto, and that took about 8 weeks. It is one of the longest processes for the degree evaluation. Did you have to do the same thing, Dominic?
When I came on the IC visa, I didn't have to do that. Um, they didn't really even ask me for like, they did ask me like my previous work history and stuff like that, but it wasn't as strict. But I did have to get my degree evaluated for my firm, for the firm that I work at. So they just wanted to do like a background check. So I had to like submit those applications and stuff like that and documentation. But I did have to get my degree evaluated like recently because I applied for PR here now. Well, I applied to get in the pool for PR. So I had to do that. And I did mine through West. And it took like 2 weeks. A lot of people say it takes longer than that, but I surprisingly got lucky with it, just the turnaround time being 2 weeks.
Wow. So it's pretty interesting that you have a work permit. She's on her.
I do have my PR
Oh,
now.
you
Yeah.
do have your PR.
Yeah, I just got it in August last year. Yeah.
So what's the process like from being a student to applying for your PR?
So when we got our study permits, and then you use that throughout your study. And once you graduate, since you have your master's, and since my master's was for 2 years, we got a work permit for 3 years. So we just had to submit the same documents that we had to submit during the study permit time, with an addition of our master's document. So we didn't need that WES evaluation because we did our master's here. So that was more than enough. And that you get that for 3 years, and you're eligible for the PR depending on the CRS points, right? So for me, once I completed probably a year of work experience, I had a good enough point, and I used to come under the STEM category. I saw that last week they took off software developers from the STEM category.
Wow.
Because they have enough of them now. So at least last year it was still the same. So we come under the STEM category. And I had like 513 points, and that was pretty good. So yeah, it was good.
So you went through the express entry program.
Through the express entry. Yeah.
That's the same thing that my wife and I went through. I'm currently a Canadian citizen, and I'm so happy about it. It's been a long journey. I remember when we did our express entry evaluation. So we put our English test together, the French, and then the French test, a degree evaluation, and I believe we were sitting around 500 and something, but it was so high when they did the draws, because when you apply into the express entry program, you are in a pool of other people, and then based on their educational background, for example, fancy people like Prithika with master's degree, they get the high points. And you, if you have a bachelor's degree, which is still good, you get a lower point count. And then the creme de la creme, like Prithika, gets selected first, and then if they still need more candidate, then they lower the score so other people can join. So it took me about 3 months in the pool before my wife and I got selected. How long did it take you, Prithika? One day?
No, it probably took around 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah, 3 to 4
Wow.
months. It was pretty quick because I guess the timing worked out. And I did have to add that when we gave our IELTS during the study permit, right? And then we had to give our IELTS again for the PR. So I was like, it's so weird because you came in, you already know to speak English. You studied in an English university. What else do you?
What else do you? There's so much redundancy in the process, which is very unnecessary. And maybe it's a way for people to make money.
Yeah, it's definitely all about the money.
Like I said earlier, it's a scam, man. But you just gotta play. You just gotta do what
Play
you
along.
gotta do to get a part of the system.
Yeah. So, Dominic, you're currently in the pool right now, and you're working on improving your scores. So, how long you think it might take you before you get selected?
I honestly don't know, simply because, like, compared to like the scores that they've dropped, I'm much more on the lower end right now. So I have to do the the CELPIP or the IELTS English test again to probably boost it up, and then probably like another year of experience to give me the extra points. Because I'm like literally sitting very low. But I'll say within a year, give or take, or probably two. But I only submitted it now so that way I'm already in the pool, and then if I have to reapply again, my documentations will still be valid, after a year. Because I think the CELPIP is valid for 2 years. The West evaluation is valid for 2 years. So it's just more so of just playing a waiting game. But I do, you know, hope to get it before like my actual visa expires. So that way, I don't have to really worry about that uncertainty.
Interesting. I know it takes a lot of money to move from one country to the next. Did you have to sell a house, Prithika, to move?
No, I I wouldn't be moving then. But I did take a loan for my study. But yeah, I think it was manageable. I knew I could pay it off with 2 years of work. I mean, if I was, yeah, so it's almost paid off now.
Wow. What about you? How did you finance your
For me, since I was undocumented, I didn't really technically work. So I had to do a GoFundMe, and I just shared the link to like a lot of people that I know and that I networked throughout like college and stuff like that. And then I also had the help of a friend, Gabby Pacheco, that helped me, create the story and stuff like that, to set up the GoFundMe account and just to encourage me to spread it out there, because when it's just you and you're in your head, you always like tend to doubt yourself. But it was very good to see how much, people were supporting me, and just seeing the contributions that I got from those individuals just made me like, yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar experience because my wife and I didn't have a lot of money, so we had to reach out to a couple of friends and prop up our bank accounts
Yeah.
and make it look fluffy. But we finally what we did, uh I moved first and my wife stayed behind for a couple of months, and I remember driving a U-Haul from Virginia all the way to Toronto. That's like 8.5 hours hauling in a U-Haul. So how was your trip to Canada?
Oh, so that was crazy because it was during COVID, and then we could not come through a direct flight because there were a lot of restrictions, and India had a lot of COVID cases back then. So we had to come from a third country, and we people were choosing all sorts of countries, and then we chose Serbia. We didn't know initially where Serbia was on the map. We almost thought it was Siberia, but then we realized Serbia is in the East Europe, and we really don't need a visa as such to go there, because Indian citizens get like visa-free travel to Serbia. And it wasn't expensive either because the currency difference is almost the same. And just a week or two prior to going to Serbia, where we had to quarantine just for one day, we got the information that Serbia wants us to quarantine for 7 days.
Wow.
And we were already 2 sems into the master's program. And we were like, we have to do it. And we went there, but we had some of the best days of our lives. And after we had to do a test, the COVID test, when we arrived and when we were leaving, and everything was good. And yeah, that's how, after 7 days, we took another flight from Serbia to Montreal.
Wow. Wow. What about you, Dominic?
For me, it was very I was very nervous and stuff like that, because I don't like flying on planes. But I had got on a plane to like literally come to like Toronto, and I was just nervous because I didn't really know what to like, really expect because it's like when I came here, I didn't have the opportunity to like come out here and visit and see what I like about Toronto. It was like it's either I come here or I don't. So I was able to make that choice and I came here. And when I came here, the first week was pretty great, honestly, because with the individuals that I came with, I had a lot of fun. I was staying at the Hilton, just trying new things. I went to the CN Tower, snowboarding and stuff like that. But after the week that they left, like, I had to get back to my reality. And then so I left out of the Hilton because like I didn't pay for it. So I ended up staying in an Airbnb in like a not so good neighborhood of Toronto. The only reason, so it's just more so I just needed it to get by before getting my place. So it was just more of like that mentality where I had to do what I just had to do to like, make my money stretch and make it work. Cause it was like a week before I started my job. I didn't have a place. I was staying at Airbnb, but I was luckily able to meet my landlord. We had the same birthday. So she gave me a shot. She told me her terms. And then at that point, I was not in a position to like, kind of like give a counter offer. I just need a place so I can like have a roof over my head. So I ended up getting that place literally 2 days before I started work.
Thank you so much for making it through the first 15 minutes of this episode. This tells me you are enjoying our conversation so far. But I do have a quick favor to ask. Please pause now, take a 2-minute break to like and subscribe to our podcast. After you finish this episode, I would love if you could tell us what you think of our show. Your support helps us share these powerful stories and reach even more people. And in return, we promise to continue improving the show, bringing you the most genuine, unfiltered, and inspiring conversations possible. If you or anyone you know would like to share your unique story, we would love to have you on the podcast. Please send us a message on your favorite social media platform at AboveStatus. And now, let's get back into it. There's something that all young immigrants go through is the cultural shock, that adjustment period. How was that for you when you arrived to Canada?
I would say I handle it much better than the others because the people who came during the same time as me, I did see a difference because I was expecting certain things because I've already spoken to people who live here. So I was expecting certain things. Definitely, there are a few things that were shocking. Like initially, it's the currency difference for us, right? But I guess we soon adjusted. Like in 3 days, we were like, okay, we need to get used to a dollar is a dollar now. And yeah, and then so back in India, we have MRP system where if you're buying a biscuit of a certain brand, that biscuit is priced for the same price in any store in the whole country. So you can't just fluctuate the price on that same product. But that was not the case here. So that was very shocking. The same product can be like have $2 at one store and $4 at the other store. So it took a while to figure out where you should buy what and what's the best way to go around. Yeah.
So, what about housing? How did you went from temporary housing to permanent housing?
So we never really had a temporary housing. Before we moved to Canada, we already found a rental space for us, which was close to our university. We had a one-bedroom house in one-bedroom apartment in downtown. We were sharing, like my boyfriend and I, and we also had our other roommate. She was also from the same city, so we traveled together. So living like the student life. But we did have a friend over there who helped us check the place, and the place was perfect. Like nothing was wrong with it. So we signed the lease, and yeah, we moved in. And then we pretty much got our part-time jobs within a week. So we didn't have the financial stress either.
Ah,
Yeah.
maybe because you sold that house.
I didn't sell any house.
So, when you arrived to Canada, Dominic, what basically uh like you found fascinating about Toronto and Canada in general? Is it the maple syrup, the poutine, Tim Hortons?
For me, I would say the first thing would honestly be the CN Tower because like when you like when you're, looking at Toronto, the CN Tower is one of the biggest things that you see there. Like there were times where I would have it save as like my laptop wallpaper or my phone wallpaper. So or just even look on TikTok, just to like see what it looks like. So just being able to like come and actually see it in person, go up and look at the whole city is like that's just a moment when you realize like I'm really here now. Like it was like a I'm really here now. Like like you ever been like wanting to go someplace, or like wanting to take a trip, and then when you're there, like you're just savoring the moment.
I think it might be the same case if you go to Paris and be like, Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, literally, like literally. Or if you go to New York, it's the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. For me, one thing that I like the most about Toronto is seeing all of the streets that Drake talks about in his albums. He's he's talking about taking the 401, Eglinton, DVP. So listen, I am a Drake fan, so all of those places, I believe his album cover, Take Care. I want to go to that restaurant so bad. Yeah. So, Prithika, what was fascinating about Canada for you?
Mm, so we landed in Montreal, right? And that was mostly very French, but we were surprised that it's bilingual, Montreal especially. And we didn't face any issues. Everyone were very nice, sweet people. They definitely talk more straightforward than the others, but you soon realize that that's how they speak. There's nothing wrong with them. Yeah, it's a French thing. But I would say diversity. When I used to have a girls group, and we one day decided to meet at a park. So we were 10 girls who met like for the first time at a park, and all 10 girls were from 10 different countries.
Wow, wow.
That was crazy. So I was like, wow.
How was that whole experience?
It was great. We all were like, we just want to know about the other person's country. So yeah, it was pretty good, and we shared some experience. We went out for dinner. So there's a lot of opportunities, and it's more European. The architecture. Montreal has that old port. It's beautiful. The people, the culture, everything is great there.
You know, I don't know if I see Montreal the same way that you see it because the first time that my wife and I went to Montreal, it was midwinter and I almost died. Like the cold almost got to me. I'm telling you, I had a heated jacket and we made the mistake of going on the Ferris wheel. It did. The Ferris wheel stopped at the very top, and then there goes that gush of wind. It was, it was madness. It was madness. So, um, yeah, yeah. It's quite an experience. So, Dominic, what is the craziest experience you've had in Canada so far?
Mm. I would say define crazy in like what aspect?
Any aspect, you tell me.
I don't like I genuinely don't know like where to start from.
Is it the hobos?
Yeah. Like I would like I don't like mean to offend anybody or anything like that, but it's just like some of the stuff that you see them doing
Yeah.
out of here is like kind of outrageous. Like me, I just mind my business and just do what I gotta do, and stuff like that. And like I be kind and stuff like that. But it's just some of the stuff that you do. Like last night when I was going home,
Mhm.
like I was literally in front of the I think it was BMO building waiting for the street cart.
Mhm.
And I just hear a guy just yelling for 30 minutes straight.
Wow.
Like literally, I'm like, dude, like, are you serious right now? Like literally, are you serious right now? Like even on the TTC, like going to Vaughn and stuff like that, I seen like two couples and they had like their stuff out. I was like, like no decorum or anything. And then another thing was too is just like how bold some people are. Like last night, I think I seen like I don't know if it was like a coyote or something
Mhm.
that was like there. Like I just know like that was not a regular dog.
Wild animal.
Like literally, it was not a regular dog. Like I seen it, and it's like me and two other people waiting for the street cart. The moment I seen it, like I'm just like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm like, I'm not even taking no chances. And them two are just standing there like it's okay. Like, dude, like you realize like if that thing just turn around and come and get you, you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just the boldness of people, man,
Yeah,
out here.
yeah. What about you?
I think the same. Like I haven't experienced anything personally,
Uh-huh.
except for people screaming on the streets. But this happened once in Montreal, um, but a lot of times in Toronto. So I felt like more unsafe in Toronto rather than Montreal or Kingston, and I've lived in 4 cities so far. So yeah.
So tell us about those cities. Okay, I know it's quite a change to move from Montreal to Kingston.
It is.
Tell
So
me.
obviously, the first city was Montreal because we studied there, and everything was okay. We just loved it. The perfect balance between people working, people enjoying. It was good. Everyone's chill. No one's like angry. And then I did get a job as a software developer in Laval, which is next to Montreal. It's connected, but it's a different city. Now that's very French. Even the menu at a restaurant is French. So I was working in a company where everyone were French, but they were all nice, and we would obviously converse in English itself. Um, I left in a month because I got another job, which is the one that I'm currently working in, and it was remote. It just depended, on it depends on like what's better for the PR on the long run. It's easier to apply in Ontario rather than Quebec, and also about the fact that this was like hybrid, but that was mostly office every day. So I decided I'll move out. So I moved from Laval to Kingston. And Kingston because my now husband, but then boyfriend, he works in Gananoque, which is like 30 minutes from Kingston.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's called the Thousand Islands. Yeah. So he works there, and he has to go to office every day. So rather than us commuting between two provinces, it would be easier if we were in the same province in the first place. So I moved to Kingston. I had mostly online. I was working remotely, and then there was a time they called me to Toronto. So I moved to Toronto. I stayed there for almost 8 months to a year, but I would go back and forth. Like I rented a place here, but I would also go there. So I was mostly on and off. But it was a shock when we first went to Kingston. So Kingston is a small city, right? It's not as big as Toronto or Montreal.
It's tiny.
Yeah, it's like in between.
I
Okay,
would
it's not
say
that
I
tiny.
notice a lot of retired.
A lot of retired people, but a lot of students, because Queens is there, and then there's a college called St. Lawrence. But and the Queens students, they know how to party. So yeah, it's happening, but quieter in the winter. And we moved in the winter, so we were like, this is a dead city. Where have we come? But summer came and things changed. It was crazy. Like we love Kingston right now because it's like not too chaotic, perfect. Everyone knows everyone somehow, and it's just local community, and it's difficult to penetrate, but once you're in there, people know you. And then Toronto was so chaotic. Don't
Very
even
chaotic.
start with it.
Yeah, yeah,
The
it's
TTC itself
madness.
is overwhelming.
It's madness. Um, what are some of the favorite activities you like doing in Canada? Do you skate or ski?
No, I haven't tried it. I've obviously tried like tubing and all of that. I did enjoy it, but I guess when it's cold, I'm happy inside my house. I'm not depressed. I'm depressed if you take me outside.
My wife and I, we are tired of the cold. Like, we are just tired. Just looking at the frozen Lake Ontario, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It can't do it. Can't do it anymore. So, what are you looking forward to do in the city? What's on your bucket list? Anywhere in Canada.
No, I would want to explore more of Canada. Like I've already been to 4 cities now. I would want to go mostly towards the west, like Vancouver, Alberta, see how life is there. They say Vancouver has the good weather, but I don't think it's worth
Okay.
the price. And Alberta is beautiful, but it's cold, much colder.
Much colder. I have my own thing with Vancouver. It's always raining.
I know, I've heard that too, because my best friend lives there. So they say it's almost like UK. It's
Yeah,
raining
yeah,
and
yeah.
cloudy.
It's just
It's at
cloudy,
least sunny
gray.
here, right?
Yeah. I'm not bad mouthing any city, but Vancouver's not for me. So what about you, Dominic? What
For me in the city of Toronto, I just want to like explore Toronto a lot more. For what it has to offer, because like I'm usually outside on the weekends, going through like clubs and stuff like that, just meeting more people, getting my face out there, my name out there,
look at
just
you
to
clubbing?
just to like, like a lot of people don't like understand, but like I use clubbing as a way just to network because you really never know who you really meet, so it's really paid off for me knowing the people that I know now in the city and how I'm able to like, maneuver through the city, or like if I need something, I know somebody that can know somebody to like, get me what I need and stuff like that, which makes it convenient. But I do want to explore Canada as a whole, more so on their nature side. I want to go to Banff, Alberta, Victoria and stuff like that, just to experience Canada though, and to like travel and possibly do like a road trip somewhere like outside of Toronto.
Interesting. Interesting. And one thing that I really appreciate about Canada is the universal healthcare. So, even though it's been extremely difficult to find a doctor and get appointments, have you had any experience with the healthcare system?
I've been to the hospital or experienced the healthcare system 3 times now. Not me as in just like personally me, but my now husband, right? So it started in Montreal. We literally, he had COVID, okay? And his throat was so bad, he could not swallow his own saliva. And we live near the hospital, like 5 minutes walk from the hospital. So at 3 a.m., I'm like, okay, this is going way too far. This guy is dying almost. We need to go to the doctor. So we run to the emergency. We go at 3 a.m. and we're just waiting. They all know we have COVID. Okay. I had COVID too, but surprisingly, I just had a small cough for 2 days. I was fine. But he had it like it's different with different people, right? So we went there and then they were like, okay, you can sit down. They first handed him 4 Tylenols. And I was like, whoa. And so then the pain stopped for a while. And then he was sitting there and he has COVID. There are other patients there. Now, it's 7 a.m. We haven't seen anyone. It's 8 a.m. And then I go like, his fever is coming back. His throat pain is coming back. And they're like, oh my God, he has COVID because now the shift changed. And then there's a new nurse. It's like, why are you guys sitting? I'm like, they asked us to sit.
You asked us to wait.
So the nurse tells him, like, there's no cure. Like, even if you meet a doctor, he's still going to just tell you to take Tylenols.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? So we went back without seeing the doctor.
Wow.
And I've heard that Quebec has the worst healthcare because our experience in Kingston is much better. We do have family doctors who hardly sees us, but she's there. But we rather go to a walk-in clinic because it's a smaller population and easier. And over there, we finally got somehow a virtual appointment with the doctor, and then he prescribed some medicine which gave him some relief. But that experience in the hospital was bad.
Yeah, experiences at the hospital is awful. I remember my wife had some stomach pain, like food poisoning, and we called the ambulance. The ambulance came, and then we went to the emergency room. We were waiting, like there were almost like 20 people in there. No one got called in the first 2.5 hours. It was just crazy, just waiting. Um, this is to say that if somebody is planning to move to Canada because of the free healthcare, just know that free always come at a cost because there's a very, very long wait time. It could, it's just madness.
Yeah, I always say you either have to be at the brink of death or you should be totally fine. There's no in between here.
No, like literally, I think I forgot the hospital that I was at. And then like there was this guy in a wheelchair, his foot was swollen. It's like anytime you would touch his foot, he feels extreme pain. And he was just sitting there for hours. Like during that time, I come from Miami too. Like for a doctor to see you, sometimes you do have to lie a little for them to see you more quicker so you can hurry up and get out of there. So which I did, and I'm like, this guy's in actual pain and he has not been seen yet. And like in the midst of it, like I knew his pain was real because I think it was his wife that was pushing him in the wheelchair and she accidentally hit his leg. And he's just screaming in pain, but he has to hold his anger in because he can't shout at his wife. And like even still, like he was there, and then when they actually came to see me and they actually spoke to me, he was still sitting in the wheelchair there on the other side, and I'm just like, yeah, people say it's free, like yeah, like you said, but it does come at a cost of convenience.
The cost of your sanity.
Oh yeah, that too, and possibly your life too, because I've really seen on Twitter about like how some people die, Like literally people would be there in mid-surgery and then they have to go to another room, but the other room is backed up, so you have to sit there open and stuff like that. Like I've no, like seen and like I've heard some of those and stuff like that. And I'm just like, yeah, if anything happens to me, New York City.
Yeah. So I know both of you and myself are creative people. We like creating contents. Do you feel that Canada and Toronto and Montreal influence your creativity? Because there's a fashion district, there's a, entertainment district, there's multiple districts here. How is the let's say artistic uh, ability of the city? Do you find it like you can create content easily or very scenic or get inspired?
Um, for me, I would honestly say yes, because like being out here, like in America, it's a lot of people that's already doing it. Here, you have a lot more people that are starting to get into it. So, it's a perfect time to like, really get in if you want to get in as well too. And then just having a background that we have, you would attract a certain type of audience for people that want to actually see what Canada's about, or what Toronto, has to offer. Because I remember before moving here, I used to watch this YouTube vlogger. His name is Siobhan Solomon, and he was like a black immigrant from Jamaica that went to university here in Toronto and stuff like that. And I would watch his films just to see, how Canada was, and I was kind of living it through him. So it's like it's stuff like that, where it's applicable, honestly. And then I was actually fortunate to like meet him and actually tell him like, yo, dude, like I watch your videos and stuff like that. So I can imagine if somebody came up and tell me that, so
Mm. What about you, Prithika?
I mean, I would say there's a lot of opportunities here for sure, like in the creative industry as well. Like a lot of opportunities. There's always something to do, something to review, some restaurant to go to. There's so many things happening. So I feel everyone will find some creativity or creative space over here.
Mm. Mm. Well, that was it for our conversation about moving to Canada, because I know you wanna.
Yes.
So, thank you, Dominic and Prithika, to be on the show today. It was great having you. You are always welcome to basically have, let's say, intimate conversations about Toronto, Canada in general, and how can I be a social media megastar like yourself?
Well, thank you for having us. I think we had a lot of great conversations actually. Yeah, so thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you, thank you. It was a pleasure just to like, be here and like actually share my outlook of like, my experience of moving to Canada and how I felt and stuff like that, So thank
Yeah.
you.
And that's it for this episode of AboveStatus. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. I'm your host, Myford Mysing. AboveStatus is a Mysing media production, and our theme music is by Steve D. Haiti. A major thank you to Dominic for helping make this show possible. If you enjoyed today's show, we would love to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave us a written review wherever you are listening or watching, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any other platform. Your feedback doesn't just help us grow. It helps more people discover these powerful immigrant stories and uplifting conversations. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, and follow us on social media at AboveStatus for more content. If you or anyone you know would like to share your unique story, we would love to have you on the podcast. Please send us a message on your favorite social media platform at AboveStatus. And remember to come back next week for a brand new episode. Remember, no matter where you are or what challenges you face, to stay above status.